Hello, friend. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. It's kind of crazy. 2025 is here. 2024 just disappeared as far as I'm concerned. And here we are turning the calendar pages into the new year. So happy New Year. I'm just going to be doing a few things differently in 2025. And one of those things is spontaneous cook dinner with me live streams. I have been doing cook dinner with me videos on social media. And I'm going to delete that. Hang on. And this year I want to do spontaneous lives where I am just cooking dinner with you. So that's the idea here. I haven't done a live stream in a little while, so I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to be reviving them and just cooking randomly with you. And today we are making Cajun sloppy Janes. I will explain. And it's basically going to be using my homemade sloppy Joe mix. That is super delicious. It gets rave reviews. And we are going to be doing a homemade sloppy Joe mix with a mirepoix. Okay, so that's what's happening here. So we are going to get started right here. I think you can see this. Okay, I'm going to shift this over. My knife block is kind of in the way. Okay, so what we're going to first do is chop up bell pepper, carrots, and onion. And once we have chopped all that up, we're going to saute in a little bit of butter for a couple minutes. Then we will add the ground chicken, and then we will add the sauce. We need to brown the chicken before we can do the sauce. These are sloppy Janes because we're using ground chicken. Can you use any kind of ground beef? Yes. Ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken, any of those will work. I just happen to have ground chicken that I need to use, so that's what we are going to be making. Okay. Second, yes, I know this is not the mirepoix trio. I'm fully aware that celery is not here. I've replaced the celery with the yellow bell pepper because that's what I have. I thought I had some celery in the freezer left over from holiday, but I had mixed it with some other things and I'm not about to go picking that apart from the freezer. So instead, I just decided to grab this guy. It'll be a lovely complement. So it's Cajun with a little twist. So welcome to our first live stream of 2025. We are making Cajun chicken sloppy joes with a little twist. Instead of celery for my mirepoix, I have a yellow bell pepper. That will do. That's one of the things that happens around here a lot. We just sort of improvise with different ingredients, and I want to inspire you to do the same. If that's what you have, that's what you have. Go with it. As long as the flavor profile is similar enough, then let's go. For my friends who are here, I would love for you to share this. This is our first live stream of 2025. I know it's been a minute since we did one, but I am hoping this year to spontaneously do live streams with you throughout the year, just cooking dinner together, because why not? All right, this is butter. I'm just gonna melt this. Oh, hey-oh. Fire's on. Let me melt that butter while I finish cutting these onions and this bell pepper. So this is Cajun sloppy joes, but I'm using ground chicken sloppy Janes. I do have the homemade sloppy joe mix linked here onto the video. You should see that somewhere. I cannot see it because it's streaming live. From my end, it's a little different look, but you should be able to see that. It is one of our most popular recipes, most searched recipes. So definitely be sure to print that out, and I'm going to actually use that and then add some Cajun seasoning to it today. So when cutting a bell pepper, you want to look for these notches, okay? And then you're going to line up your knife from one notch to the next and slice down. And then as you go around the bell pepper, you will end up with the core and the pith and the seeds all together as one like section, and then you will end up with, hopefully the idea is no seeds. Every now and again a seed will kind of jump ship. And then you can cut off like the bottom pieces that you need. Look at that. Beautiful. No seeds. 0 seeds. There you go. You learned something new today. I might shave a little bit off of this top here. And then we're going to just cut that down into bite-sized pieces. Our butter is melted. Apparently I need to recalibrate my stove. It seems to have a little bit of a lean to it. All right, let me get these onions and carrots going while I finish the bell pepper. So Cajun Sloppy Joes is what we are cooking today. I'm using a modified mirepoix, which is technically carrots, onions, and celery, but I didn't have any celery. I thought I had saved it from the holidays, but it was actually, I had mixed it in with some other things, so I didn't want to have to like pick all that apart from the freezer because that would just take too long. So I grabbed this yellow bell pepper instead. It's going to just be a nice flavor complement. I like also that this yellow bell pepper is going to be on the sweeter side because we are going to be adding a little kick with this Cajun seasoning. So it'll be nicely balanced once it's finished cooking. So we're just going to saute these for a couple of minutes just to get them started. They're going to continue to saute when we add the ground chicken, but I just wanted to give them a head start to getting sweating in there. After that, once we get the ground chicken going, then we are going to mix in the homemade sloppy joe sauce. You could absolutely use a can. I just prefer this homemade version because I already have all the ingredients and it's cleaner. So there's that. If health is a part of your either resolutions or goals or whatever, however you do that, then you definitely want to make an easy switch like this. I'm going to show you. This is an easy kind of a swap, right? You just do homemade instead of the can, and you have a lot more control of the ingredients and the flavor. So that's the thing. Let me see here. Last little friend here going in. I'm going to get you closer to the skillet. This magic happen. All right, hang tight with me. We're going to go down. Whoopity-doo. Yeah, sweet. All right, just going to give this a little toss over. My trusty spinella. If you've ever seen a video of mine, a live stream in the past, distant past, you know I use these all the time. It's my favorite kitchen gadget. Oh my goodness, these little guys trying to jump ship. All right, next we're gonna add in the ground chicken. Ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey, any of those will work. This is just the one that I have. This is about a pound is what you want to work with. A pound of ground beef of any variety is going to be what you need with this amount of sauce that we're going to be adding in. I'm going to peel this off. Hold on, this paper. So when you're doing like a 15-ounce can, whether it's homemade sloppy joe like we're going to do, or a can of sloppy joe, that's going to pair up with 1 pound of ground beef. So this ground chicken with water pan. Let's see, where's my meat measure? Here he is. So I'm just going to break this up and mix it in with the veggies. And this will not take very long to cook. And meanwhile, I'm going to be getting everything else ready for the sauce while this is browning. So the homemade sloppy joe sauce, again, one of our most searched recipes. I have it here linked on this video. I'm exactly not sure how you see it though. I'm sorry. Every time I do a live stream, they change like what you can add and subtract and whatnot. And so I'm not even sure what that looks like on your end, but hopefully you can see it. If not, after the live stream ends, I will add links to the comments section with the recipe. Both this recipe, the Cajun sloppy joe recipe, as well as the sloppy joe, homemade sloppy joe recipe. All right. This, I'm just gonna give it a minute to be browning. All right, I am going to open my can of tomato sauce. I don't know that you can see this, it's right here. Can of tomato sauce, a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And we're going to add mustard and vinegar, as well as some spices. And this is where you get to kind of control the flavor. And I want you to click on that link. I want you to print this out, whether that's after we're finished here, depending on how you can see it or not. It's just really easy. And it's a favorite of ours. I know it's a favorite of other people's because you'll have told me. And then the dry ingredients that we're gonna add are brown sugar, minced onion, paprika, cumin, garlic, and Cajun, because this is Cajun Sloppy Joes. Or in this case, Sloppy Janes, because I'm using chicken. Joe's for beef, Jane's for chicken and turkey. Something like that. Who makes these rules anyways? I don't know who makes these rules. Somebody makes these up a long time ago. All right, so that chicken is starting to brown. The onions are getting a little caramelization to them. I can actually can you smell sweetness? Is that a thing? Yeah, I can smell the sweetness of the onions and the yellow bell pepper. And then the carrots will soften even further once we get the sauce simmering in here. This is gonna be so good. Once all of this is cooked, you can see I have buns right here. And I will either add, actually I'll probably let the boys pick. This is for dinner. I'm cooking it now because crazy afternoon is in my future. If you have elementary, middle school, pre-driving age kids, which I have both, I have driving kids and not driving kids, you're in your mom Uber era. So I have my mom Ubering duties this afternoon. So I'm wanting to do this now. So all we have to do is reheat this later. Which is, I don't usually cook around lunchtime, but I was in the kitchen having lunch and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do this now because I know I will not have time later. And this is also gonna keep me from the temptation of popping through the drive-thru when I'm so hungry after school hits, right? Or after practice. Yeah, no, we are having this tonight. So, that is why I'm cooking dinner at lunchtime today. Sometimes I do dinner in the morning when it's a slow cooker. Sometimes it's, 5 o'clock when the kids want to eat at 6 or 6:30, depending on the schedule. But today's cooking hour for me is going to be non-existent because of this, that, and the other. So here we are. All right, this chicken is looking just about finished. I just want to check a couple of these other pieces. I think this is ready for the sauce. Okay, so the homemade Sloppy Joe sauce. We're gonna start with the wet ingredient, which is a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, plus about a half a can's worth of water. And that's two reasons. One, to get it to the Sloppy Joe consistency level, like you want it to be saucy, right? And two, to get the rest of the tomato sauce out of the can. So that's that. The next thing we're gonna do is add a tablespoon of yellow mustard. We want the tang. There's the tang. I'm gonna have to scoop that out. And then we will add the vinegar, which is gonna be 2 and I'm gonna incorporate this water a little bit. 2 1/2 teaspoons. That's also gonna give it that tangy flavor. And yes, we will be adding sweet, do not worry. If you're like, this is too much tang, trust, as my children would tell me. Trust, Mom, trust. You else kids say that? Okay, 2 1/2. Apple cider or white will work. There we go. So that is the wet ingredients. Pound of ground beef, chicken, turkey, a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, crushed tomatoes if you really want kind of a chunkier, but tomato sauce, it really should be smooth, right? A tablespoon of mustard and 2.5 tablespoons of vinegar. So that's our tang. Let me just get this all incorporated, and then we're gonna add the spices next. If you're just joining us, we're making homemade sloppy joes. This is with ground chicken, so I'm calling them sloppy janes. I have the homemade sloppy joe sauce linked here on the video, so be sure to check that out. Next, we're gonna start with our dry ingredients, which is gonna be 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. There's the sweet. I told you it wasn't going to be too tangy. This is where you can kind of play with the flavors. If you want a little more sweet, add a little more. If you want a little less sweet, add a little less. Totally up to you. Here, it's also a bit personal on like the flavor profile, if you will. Okay, next is going to be a tablespoon of paprika. I'm going to measure over here just in case any extra spills over. It would be okay because this is Cajun, so the paprika is not going to hurt anything because we're giving this a Cajun twist. So then we're going to add onion. So minced onion, just the minced dried onion, a tablespoon of that. And then we're going to do garlic. Here's the one you may want to skip or reduce, and that is cumin. So cumin has a very smoky flavor to it. I'm going to add a full teaspoon because that's how I like ours, and that's what my boys are used to. But if you wanted to do a half a teaspoon, then that would work as well. Hold on, it's like stuck in the jar. There we go. So then a little ground cumin, and the last but not least, because this is Cajun, I am going to be adding in a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. Just your run-of-the-mill Cajun seasoning. My tablespoon barely fits in there. Barely fits in this guy. There we go. Come on now. He barely fits in his little dispenser. Okay, so that is all of our seasonings. We're gonna just pull all of this together and then let this simmer for a bit. I'm gonna share a recap with you and how I'm gonna reheat this later, as well as kind of the plan for dinner. So, this is Cajun Sloppy Joes. I started with melting a little butter and sauteing the onion, carrots, should have been celery to do that Cajun sort of mirepoix, but instead I used a yellow bell pepper, excuse me, in part because the yellow bell pepper is going to give a touch of sweetness to this Cajun sloppy joe sauce. After the onions sort of got a little translucent and started to sweat a little, I added in the ground chicken. You could do ground beef, ground turkey, any of those will work. Any ground beef, 1 pound is what we're after here. You can see how full this skillet is. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be almost. Here we go. Are we still there? Still there. All right. After that, after the ground chicken was browned, I added in a can of tomato sauce, 15 ounces, plus half the can's worth of water, a tablespoon of mustard, 2.5 tablespoons of vinegar. White or apple cider will work. That's to give it that little bit of tanginess into the sauce. And then we added our dry ingredients, which was 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, that sweetness to balance the tangy, as well as a tablespoon of onion, minced dried onion, a tablespoon of paprika, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and Cajun seasoning, 1 tablespoon. And now I'm just going to, you can do this to taste, but I'm just going to add probably about a teaspoon of salt and pepper just to kind of finish this off. So I will need to reheat this later since this is for dinner and I'm cooking it now because the afternoon is going to be a little nutty. I will let this cool down and I'll probably just store it in the fridge, rinse the skillet out, and then just reheat it in this same skillet. when we get back from errands and practice and all that stuff. When it comes time to serving, I have buns right here, and I will probably set out sliced cheese. We have some sliced provolone and probably I think we have shredded cheddar. I don't think we have any sliced cheddar, so probably just shredded cheddar. I think this would be really good with provolone, like a mild white cheese, or just cheddar would work, or American too would work, depending on whatever you have, would be great. Shredded or sliced, sprinkle on top, let it melt on the bun. And then I think we will have this with, green beans. I'll have to see what is in the freezer, but I'm pretty sure it's green beans. So I'm gonna just turn this heat down to low, let this simmer for a couple of minutes. Please check please save and print out the homemade sloppy joe. It's one of our most searched recipes, and because it's delicious. So check that out. And this Cajun sloppy joe recipe I will have on the blog, and I will put that link into the comments as well. So there you have it. So welcome to 2025. I look forward to doing more live streams with you throughout the year. They're going to be spontaneous. In the past, I've sort of kind of planned them out based on our schedule and just how things were going during my work week. But this year, I'm just going to show up, be here. Why not? Because this is what's actually happening in my kitchen, and I want to share it with you, kind of the hows and the whys of how all of that works, and how I avoid going through the drive-thru on days like today by cooking dinner at lunchtime. Sometimes that's just how it goes. So that's that. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, whenever that may be. Have a beautiful rest of your Monday, and we'll see you soon.